so what's your name?
Nefeli Kousi.
Okay.
And Marilyn Kubata.
Okay, nice girls. So welcome. This test consists of 5 stages, as you know, and it lasts about each stage 5 minutes. So as the test progresses, I will give you guidelines, explanations for each stage, and what you need to do. So first of all, for stage 1, we're going to get to know each other. So I would like you to tell me a little bit about yourselves. So who wants to start? Nefeli?
Okay, I'm 14 years old. I'm going to the 3rd grade of junior high school. I have 2 siblings, 1 sister and 1 brother. I'm the oldest one, and I really like reading books and drawing.
Ah, nice. Lots of things. What about you, Mariana?
I am in the 1st year of high school. I have 2 siblings, 1 brother and 1 sister, younger. I am the oldest, yes. In my free time, I don't have lots these days because too many lessons, but I like listening to music and doing a bunch of things like reading, knitting I have tried, yes, painting.
Lots of creative things.
Yeah.
Nice. So, you have already told me what you do in your free time, lots of things. Why have you been studying English, Nefeli? Why do you want this?
I like to communicate with people from other cultures, and I want to travel a lot when I'm older. That's why I also studied Chinese, because I want to go to China one day.
Nice, nice, excellent. What about
I want to travel as well in the future, but also I consider going, like using that in my career, like maybe going to study abroad or working abroad even, and it would be very useful. And I also took French lessons. I finished this year.
Okay.
And I think it's useful in general to know languages.
Nice, multilingual. Very nice. So, I was wondering, if you had a chance to go on a class trip, would you like to?
Yeah, I really like class trips and all this stuff, because I can bond with my classmates and my teachers as well.
What about you, Mariana?
I went on a class trip actually like 2-3 weeks ago.
Where?
Kalamata, for 2.5 days with all the 1st grade of high school and like, I don't know, 5 teachers.
Yes.
It was great. We went sightseeing the day and at night. Then we went like one day we went clubbing, and the second we were clubbing again, but like a different type of clubbing both days. We had lots of fun, but we didn't sleep. Like we got like 4 hours of sleep all together.
Okay. So it was a fruitful experience. Huh? Okay. So now let's proceed to the next stage. So you are supposed to be students in a high school class, and you are going on a 3-day trip in the spring. Okay. So now for this part, I'm going to give you. This is for you, Nefeli, and this is for you. So you're on the selection committee, and you have to decide on the best location for your class trip. 4 locations have made it to the final selection, as you can see, and each of you will be given descriptions. You are already given descriptions of 2 of the 4 locations. So you will need to describe these locations to each other, okay? And your goal is both of you to know what the 4 options are, okay, in this stage. So remember that you don't need to memorize any information. You can make notes on your answer sheet if you want. So you will be given 2 minutes to read through the information to get prepared, but you cannot look at each other's sheets, remember. Do you have any questions up to here? No? Remember to try to use your own words to summarize the information as much as possible, but you have also to listen to your partner, remember, because after hearing, you will need to give your recommendation of the best option from your partner's options, of course. So have you got any questions? Okay, so you can start. You have 2 minutes to prepare your presentation. So, are you ready? Okay. Would you like to go first, Natalia?
Okay. I have 2 choices. My first choice is New York City, New York. It's like 2 hours by the train. It's very easy to go there because it's only 2 hours. It's nearby. Also, it has in spring like 20 degrees of Celsius. This is not too hot, but students will not be cold and will have more fun in our trip. Also, there are many art museums that we can have a tour around them, and people interested in art could be they are very appealing to people interested in art. Also, there are Broadway show tickets that have a discount because students cannot pay the whole ticket, and this will be an opportunity for the students to see a Broadway show. Also, they can go shopping at specialty stores. This is very good because they will have the fun part of the trip, and they can also visit the Statue of Liberty. I think all the students want to do so because it's a very famous site. But the accommodations there are pretty expensive, I think, and some students could not afford the trip. My second option is Aspen in Colorado. It's like 5 hours from here. The 4 hours is with the airplane and the other one by bus. I think it's pretty far, but students would enjoy the flight. Also, there is 16 degrees of Celsius. It's not too cold, but students may appreciate that. Also, students have the opportunity to rent bicycles. It's like a trip for more students who like ride a bicycle or camping because they can go camping in the mountains there. Or also go hiking because there are many well-marked hiking trails that will facilitate their hiking process. Also, some students, if they want to, can go river rafting. I think this is a pretty useful experience for them, and they will remember in all their lives. But students might suffer from altitude sickness because they are in nature, and they would have problems with that.
Okay, my recommendation is New York City. And I have 2 options as well. My first option is Orlando in Florida. It would take us about 2 hours to get there by plane, and the average degrees are around 31 Celsius, which is a bit hot. So if we would walk around the city, maybe the students would feel a bit warm, a bit hot, yes. Also, with this class trip, we would be offered tickets to the Disney World at a lower price, so any student would be able to afford it and we could all go together to the Disney pool. Sorry. Also in the trip, we could arrange golf lessons for the students, so they could have like a sport also provided to them. And we could arrange a trip to the alligator park, which is a big site, something that many people who go in Orlando visit, and I think it would interest the students. The hotel we are considering is near the new mall, the new shopping mall, so the students could go and buy whatever they want at any time. But unfortunately in Florida the weather, as I said, it's very hot, it's very humid, so maybe the students would have problems like walking around all day, they would become hot and maybe sick. And my second option is Washington DC. Now this is around a 4-hour trip by train. It is a bit long, 4 hours, maybe it would exhaust the students. It's around 23 degrees Celsius average, so perfect weather, not too hot, not too cold. We could arrange like a trip to the White House, which is, the White House. I think students would be interested in going there. And also a tour to the National Monuments of Washington, sorry. They are a lot. And I think, students interested in history, maybe they would like that. We could also go on a bus trip to the zoo, so the students could also go and see the animals, and I think the zoo in Washington is pretty famous one, yes. And also we could visit the Air and Space Museum and like look all the history of space, how we got there, and this for students I think in history and in science, interesting, yes. But Washington has a very high crime rate, so if anything happened, it would be, the possibilities would go up that something happens.
I recommend Florida.
Okay, nice. Now we proceed to part 3, step 3. You need to choose one of your two options, okay, of your own options. Remember that there is no correct answer. And from your two options, you choose one and you give me the name. So, Nefeli, which one?
New York City, New York.
New York City, New York. And you?
Washington DC.
Okay, nice. So now you're going to work together and you have to compare and contrast your two final choices. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of your two options, and your goal is to come to an agreement up to the end of this part. So you need to explain the reasons why this is the best decision and why these reasons are important for your final choice. Remember again that there is no correct answer and still you can't look at each other's seats, okay? So.
Okay, the trip to New York City is about 2 hours by train and it is very short, I think, and students will not be tired because our trip will have many other tiring moments because they're going to go sightseeing and all this.
Yes, walking around and all that. Okay, so Washington is 4 hours by train, double time. And yes, it's a bit longer, but I don't know. I think they could go with it. Like it's long, but it's not that long. Okay, and we would have like we could stop for a bit, and the students could like 15 minutes, 30 minutes stops, and we could.
And it would be more easier. Also in New York City there is a temperature about 20 degrees Celsius. I think this is the perfect temperature because it's not too hot, not too cold, and students will appreciate it.
Okay.
You have about the same temperature.
Yes, the same temperature. Yes. Okay. Yes, about around the same temperature. Perfect, actually, temperature. Yes. And we could go, from there. Okay.
Also, students will have the opportunity to go to many art museums. Students appreciate the art, will be very appealed by these museums, and we will have a great time together there.
Okay, I understand, and I think art is very important because it also inspires students. In Washington, we were considering a White House tour, so they could, go and see how things are working from the inside. And I think that students interested in history would like to go there. It's more very, historical to could see that.
On the other hand, in New York, we are going to appreciate the arts because we have tickets at lower price for a Broadway show. I think it will be very fun to see such a famous show, whatever show it is.
Yes, I know, and I think the students would be very interested in going on a Broadway show. Okay, and in Washington we were, as I said, very historical tour. We are considering a trip to the national monuments, like walking around the city, seeing all the monuments.
That will be very interesting, especially for those who like history. Also, for a more fun part of a New York City trip, we can go shopping at specialty stores. This will be very fun for the students, and I think they would really like it to go there.
And shopping in New York City, yes. Now in Washington, we could go on a bus trip to the zoo. That was exciting as shopping, if you ask me. But I think that the students would really like that because, they could walk around, watch all the animals, take photos.
I agree with you because zoo is a fun part of the trip. Also, in New York City trip, they can go visit the Statue of Liberty. It's, I think, one of the most famous sites in the world, and they would really like to take photos there and enjoy the moment.
I know, and it is a very, as you said, famous landmark. Yes. In Washington, last thing we could arrange is an Air and Space Museum visit, and again for students with history, but also interested in science, they could, go and see how everything in space happens, and also the history of going.
And it would be very educational.
Educationally interesting, yes.
But the only disadvantage is that New York City is very expensive, and the accommodation there will be too. And this trip could be not affordable for all students.
Okay, I hear your point. In Washington, the main problem is that there is a very high crime rate. So if anything happened, like a student got stolen or anything, it would be very possible that this happens.
Okay. What about choosing New York City?
Yes.
Okay. So you have decided. Your final decision is
New York City.
New York City. Okay. So now you need to formally present to the school principal your final option. Using the information you have been given, you will each need to choose 2 reasons, okay, and explain why those reasons are really important for your final decision. So your goal is to convince the school principal that the option you chose is the best. After the presentation, the school principal will ask you some questions. Now, you're going to take about 2 minutes to collaborate, okay, and plan which you will present.
I think I want to take the discounted Broadway tickets because it's very important. Do you have any preference?
Okay. Can I take the shopping at specialty stores and visit to such a event? Okay.
Okay.
So I'll take those 2.
I'm going to take the tours of art museums. And also, if she asked us the negative point, we're going to tell her that it's a group trip and we can have discounted prices for the students.
Yes.
So you're ready?
Yes.
Okay, now you can share the same information sheet, as you know. Okay, so who would like to begin?
You want to begin?
Okay. Okay. You have assigned us to find the location to go on a class trip, and after research we have come down to New York City in New York. We have chosen this specific location because of many reasons, but two of them is that it will be a very exciting trip, and there are many landmarks that the students could go, like the Statue of Liberty, which is a very famous landmark. They could go there, they could take photos, maybe use that for school as well, like doing, I don't know, papers. Anyways, they could use that for educational reasons as well, and it would be a fun memory. And also, they could go shopping at the specialty stores, yes, sorry, which is a very big part of New York City, like the shopping, all the shops that the students could go. And I think it would be very fun to go there as a classroom. They could bond, they could shop together, and it would be very fun. And now my colleague Nefeli will continue with the presentation.
Thanks, Magdalena. Except from shopping and visiting the Statue of Liberty, also the students are given the opportunity to see a Broadway show with tickets at a lower price. I think this is very important because many students will not have the opportunity to buy tickets for the Broadway show of their own. I think it's pretty expensive, and also students interested in art will be benefited because we are going to have tours at art museums, and those are the main reasons because we chose New York City. And the art museums, the Statue of Liberty, the shopping malls that are there, and also the Broadway show.
Okay, so you have presented some very interesting reasons why you selected this one. However, I have some second thoughts, and I would like to ask you a few questions. So you told me about the shopping experience. Okay. Okay, it's nice because it's going to be in New York City, but don't you think that this is something that we can do also in our country, in our city?
Okay, I see your point, but I think that it's different when you go like a new place, a new city, a new country, and you shop there, because then like you go back home and you look back at what you bought, and it's like, it's not only what you bought, it's also a nice memory to have. Like they could look back, I don't know, to like those New York City, I love New York City little t-shirts, and they could be, I went there with my classroom when I was, I don't know, 16, and it could be a very nice memory.
You're right. Okay. Nefeli, what about the negative, the fact that it's going to be an expensive package for our students?
Yeah, I understand your point up to a certain extent, but I think we could have some offers there, and we are going to choose the cheapest and the better option there. And also, because we are a group, there are many discounted tickets, for example, about museums and this, and we are going to find the best offer for them.
Okay, nice. Thank you, guys. I think that you have convinced me. Okay.